Welcome to the annual Bear Yuba Land Trust Open Spaces and Wild Places Virtual Gala and Conservation Awards. Tonight's event is hosted by Nevada County Media right here in Grass Valley, California, and made possible by our community partners.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Bear Yuba Land Trust annual Open Spaces and Wild Places Gala and Conservation Awards. My name is Erica Seward, Co-Executive Director of Bear Yuba Land Trust. On behalf of our entire staff, Co-Executive Director Aaron Tarr, and our Board of Directors, I'd like to extend a heartfelt thanks for joining us. For those that have attended the gala in the past, you'll notice we're doing something a little different. This year's event has gone virtual. And while we miss seeing you in person, in spirit we gather to celebrate the beautiful lands that surround us and the people that protect and care for them. Tonight, we honor our conservation heroes, Shelly Covert, spokesperson for the Nevada City Rancheria Nisenan Tribe and Executive Director of the California Heritage Indigenous Research Project, as well as Debra Weistar, documentary filmmaker, environmental advocate, youth educator, and founder of Synergia Learning Center and Nature School. We also pay special tribute to John Olmsted and the Independence Trail, which was recently lost in the Jones Fire. Musical folk duo the Moore Brothers are here to sing songs and share stories of their visionary friend and the iconic trail built by this community, enjoyed and loved by thousands for decades, and known globally as the first wheelchair-accessible trail in the country. John's son, Alden Olmsted, will provide inspiring words as we endeavor to fundraise and advocate for its revisioning and rebuild. You'll have the opportunity to kickstart this effort with tonight's Fund a Need, as well as bid on an assortment of impressive auction items, with all proceeds supporting Bear Yuba Land Trust conservation, stewardship, and trail projects. And last, we remember those that have passed away, whose legacy lives on through their many contributions as volunteers and stewards committed to conservation. Before we get started, let me walk you through what you're seeing on your screen and how a virtual gala works. During much of our event, you'll see that your viewing screen is a little bit smaller at times. Below it, there is a chat or comment section. We want you to actively interact with us and others participating throughout the night. Take a moment and say hello now to see how it works. And listen through the program as we ask questions and offer opportunities for you to share your story as well. When the screen gets wider, you will see the comment section disappear or close. Don't worry, your conversation is not lost. You can manually open chat on the bottom left-hand side and continue. On your right, you will see our sponsors for whom this event is possible. Thank you all so very much. Your donations, as well as auction winnings, contribute to the success of our ongoing work. Our goal tonight is to raise $20,000. You'll notice a ticker at the top of the screen that tracks our progress. Please help us get there. Your pledges will be acknowledged in the side panel throughout the evening. During our Fund a Need, on the right is where the action takes place, and you can click on the green button to donate. Before we go to the Fund a Need, you can make donations of any amount by clicking the donate button you will see on the right. The silent auction will remain open until we are in the closing minutes of the event. During our event, you can continue bidding through the link until the auction closes. Don't worry, we'll give you fair warning in case you want to place one final bid on a coveted item. And be sure you have a separate window open in your computer browser or on your mobile device so you can participate in both the auction and the event together. You will receive a bid confirmation via email, or if you provide a mobile number, via text. If you are outbid, you will be alerted so you can rebid easily as you like. Our silent auction will close after the fund a need towards the end of the event. And last, don't forget, please, about checking out. Your bids and donations go into your cart, and when we end the event, you will be prompted to check out and pay. Acceptable payments include credit or debit cards that are run through our secure payment system. If at any point you have questions, just write it in the chat or email info@bylt.org, and we'll answer your questions in real time. Okay, so now that we've got that covered, how about a bird's eye view of what makes this place we call home so special? A reminder of why we all live here and why we at Bear Yuba Land Trust are passionate about our mission to protect and steward these lands alongside you. For those that are Gala first-timers or new to Bear Yuba Land Trust, know that we've been around for a long time, 30 years to be exact. In 1990, a small group of concerned citizens came together, recognizing the need to preserve local farms, ranches, meadows, and forests, while recognizing that smart growth was important to the economic viability of the area. Partnering with willing property owners who wanted to conserve the land, the group drew support from all shades of the political spectrum, while remaining nonpartisan. Early projects included Mathis Pond, Round Mountain Wildlife Preserve, the North Star House, and the Lytton Trail, to name a few. Since then, the Land Trust has emerged as a conservation leader and guardian of our future, protecting and defending the natural and working lands of the Bear and Yuba River watersheds, with the help of our friends, of course. Earlier this year, we shared our vision and 5-year strategic plan that addresses both community and climate resilience. From a global pandemic to the devastating loss of the Independence Trail from the Jones Fire, and burdens placed on outdoor amenities, who could have predicted how 2020 would unfold? Yet our staff and board have remained steadfast and resilient. While we've had to adapt operations in recent months, we're a creative, innovative bunch, leading with compassion, moving projects forward, securing funding, and staying connected to partners, stakeholders, and members while keeping our trails and preserves open and safe for all to enjoy. Tell us right now, and your neighbors in attendance during this event, in the chat box, what trails and preserves you've enjoyed during this time. In 2020, Land Trust priorities have been to develop collaborative conservation projects, expand recreational access, and pursue funding of government aid programs and grants, which have already yielded positive results. We also boldly led and launched a public fundraising campaign for the Forever Farms program and acquisition of 37 acres currently leased to Mountain Bounty Farm that was under threat. The good news is that you stepped up in a big way to support this vision. To date, we've raised over $820,000 for the protection of critical agricultural land, ensuring food security for decades to come. It was a big win and has taken community-supported agriculture to the next level. And it was a first, but it won't be the last. In an area that spans over 1,000 square miles or roughly 640,000 acres within Nevada, Yuba, and Sierra counties, Bear Yuba Land Trust has protected over 17,600 acres of land with local community support. That's a whole lot of ground to cover, comprised of diverse habitats and home to a diverse array of species, including you and me. From an elevation of 200 to 8,000 feet, these lands include the Headwaters region, which is vitally important to the health of California, as part of the system of waterways of the Sierra Nevadas that provide over 60% of the state's developed water supply. The Yuba Rivers and Ridges region, named for the Montezuma, Harmony, and San Juan Ridges, above and between the middle and south forks of the Yuba River. In a region where fire hasn't burned through the forest in over 100 years, we are diligently working with local partners to design and implement projects that reduce fuel loads and restore forest health. The Blue Oak Woodlands and Rangelands region, home to the most animal diversity of any widespread habitat type in California, with over 330 species. Bear Yuba Land Trust has over 6,000 acres of working agricultural lands located here, and that is protected from sprawling development. And last, the urban core, which serves as a population-dense center that includes the cities of Grass Valley and Nevada City and surrounding Nevada County, where residents and visitors alike have access to over 45 miles of public trails that have been built and are maintained by Land Trust staff and volunteers. Collectively, these regions have a rich and vibrant history dating back to when the Nisenan were the main residents. Bear Yuba Land Trust is committed to working with the Nisenan to tell their story and help heal these lands. Land and people. We are all connected. We must remember now, more than ever, it is we who are responsible for our future, for the choices we make individually and collectively. It is vitally important that we protect our natural resources so that we and future generations can have access to clean air and water, an abundance of fresh local food, critical habitats for flora and fauna to flourish, and outdoor recreational access for the physical, mental, and spiritual health and well-being of all. Each year, Bear Yuba Land Trust recognizes 2 individuals with our conservation awards. For 11 years, these awards have honored the legacy and passion that so many in our community exhibit as leaders in both conservation and recreation. Tonight, I am pleased to honor and acknowledge 2 truly inspiring women who are deeply connected to the land and remind us every day through purpose and action why conservation matters. Nominated by community members and selected by a review committee, each has, through their respective work, elevated the public consciousness around the critical importance of conservation and stewardship as decades-long advocates of the Bear and Yuba River watersheds. Let's take a look.
Each Each year, Bear Yuba Land Trust is proud to recognize 2 conservation awards to local leaders who share a dedication to our mission to enrich a community connection to the land. These heroes never give up in the face of challenge and inspire others to act. The William Nickerl Award for Conservation Leadership goes to an individual who demonstrates a long-time commitment to land conservation, is an advocate for sustainability and environmental policy, and has achieved measurable success fostering innovation. The John Skinner Sierra Outdoors Recreation Award honors an individual for work on leadership of unusual significance in the field of outdoor recreation and education. This person is an advocate for local parks, preserves, recreational programming, and/or outdoor education, and has a proven track record of outstanding volunteer service and success. Let's take a moment to recognize past recipients who have vastly contributed to the quality of life we all have come to know and love. In 2020, 2 exceptional women will be joining this esteemed list of leaders. This year, we are proud to recognize Debra Weistar with the John F. Skinner Sierra Outdoors Recreation Award for her lifelong commitment to educating and mentoring youth through nature programming and documentary filmmaking. Here's more about Debra.
I'm Debra Weistar. My husband, Tom, and I founded Synergia Learning Center in 2002. Along with a fabulous staff team, we offer educational opportunities to youth. This presentation is a small peek into our life's work over the last 30 years. Synergia Learning Center is a nonprofit youth organization based on San Juan Ridge in the Yuba River watershed. Synergia serves hundreds of youth every year through transformational, holistic outdoor education. Synergia was a pioneer in bringing a powerful educational tool to the West Coast, the Challenge Ropes Course. The Ropes Course is a potent learning environment on its own, and we also use it as a base to bring a group together in trust and mutual support before starting a demanding expedition. Wilderness expeditions into the backcountry teach self-knowledge and self-reliance. Backpacking in the High Sierra or canoeing on a river awakens a sense of place and desire to protect. With a preservation ethic arising out of experience, the next step is conservation. Our youth and conservation programs introduce youth to environmental activism. Their encounters with mentors in the field give them a deep sense of dedication and commitment. Making documentary films like Awakening the Bear River teach youth what it means to step fully into a complicated issue and effect change in order to bring about a more just and sustainable world. Expanding into ever-widening circles, we travel to Baja California to experience culture and customs, language and landscape. We study marine conservation from sea turtles to whale sharks to gray whales. In an exchange of cultures, we give and receive. We see ourselves reflected in the other, and the world becomes less divided and less unknown. Diversity and equity, bias and acceptance are lived experiences when the other becomes friend. Cycling back close to home, Salmon Camp on the Lower Yuba brought students into a microcosm of humans' impact on nature, all within the context of cultural dependence and the mystery of life cycles. The lessons and truth of interconnectedness became a part of lived experience. Synergia has evolved over the years as the needs of youth in our culture in these times change at a rapid pace. Every program we have created have these questions at its core. What do young people need? How can transformational education meet that need? The moment we are living in now is no exception. How do we meet the needs of children in the time of a pandemic? The need for nature connection and social-emotional learning has never been greater. So in the fall of 2020, we created Synergia Nature School for local children aged 5 to 12. In 2 pods of 7 children each, we are meeting the needs of families during this unprecedented time. In this all-outdoors nature school, children are learning together, exploring together, and creating a community together. We are all rising to the challenge of a changing world and creating a livable future together. To learn more, please visit synergia.org. Hello, everyone. I'm Debra Weistar, and I am humbled and honored to accept this award. To be recognized by my community in this way gives me a new and different sense of belonging and of responsibility. I want to thank the staff, the board of directors, and the supporters of the Bear Yuba Land Trust. Rooted in this recognition is acknowledgement that youth need access to wild places, to be free in wild places, and to learn in wild places. I accept this symbol of appreciation on behalf of all the students who helped me stumble toward becoming a worthy teacher, and I accept it with the understanding that I stand on the shoulders of those who came before me, whose work was never laid down, but was passed on, and by chance or by fate, was handed to me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Importantly, I acknowledge that the work of myself, my husband and partner, Tom Weistar, and the dedicated Synergia staff takes place on the ancestral homelands of the Nisenan people, who are still here today. Standing side by side with Shelly Covert in this moment makes it even more meaningful for me. This is the first time that women have been named for both awards in the same year. I collect objects from nature. They are all over my house. The altar that is my kitchen windowsill holds evidence of our travels and objects from my garden. The skull of a barn owl, a collection of nautilus spirals in shell and stone, 2 flicker feathers, and of course, smooth, diminutive river rocks from the Yuba. Hanging on one wall is an original art print from a wood engraving. The scene depicts dandelion puffs gone to seed and a moth. Below the image, in minute and carefully penciled script, one can just make out Engraved from Nature by Anna Botsford Comstock, December 3rd, 1893. Anna Botsford Comstock initiated nature study in public schools. In 1895, she was the first woman to be hired as a professor at Cornell University, only to be stripped of her title and salary when men complained that a woman professor would damage the university's reputation. It didn't stop her. She wrote and illustrated nature books, including the 900-page Handbook of Nature Study, still in print today. She made over 600 wood engravings that illustrated the books that she and her entomologist and professor husband, John Henry Comstock, co-wrote. And in 1909, she was given back her title as professor and taught at Cornell until 1922. I stand on the shoulders of Anna Botsford Comstock and women like her, and I, in turn, take my place as the shoulders for young women and men who come after me. In giving thanks to the Land Trust for recognizing the importance of connecting youth to the land, I want to also thank you for the essential work you do to preserve that land for future generations. In 1911, Anna Botsford Comstock wrote, "The nature study teacher, if she does her work well, is a sure aid in inculcating a respect for the rights of all beings to their own lives, and she needs only to lend her influence gently in this direction to change carelessness to thoughtfulness and cruelty to kindness." The term rights of nature had not yet been coined in 1911, and yet Anna's innate understanding of its core tenets is evident in her writing and teaching. I am so grateful for the work that the Land Trust does. I can't imagine what our landscape might look like if it weren't for you. And at the same time, I envision a future where land trusts are no longer necessary, because all the land is protected for all people and for itself in perpetuity. It is my belief that youth, educated with these principles, will bring this about. Thank you.
Next, we are proud to recognize Shelly Covert with the William Nickerl Award for Conservation Leadership for her tireless commitment to conservation and dedication to enriching the community's connection to the ancestral homelands of the Nisenan tribe. Shelly Covert is the spokesperson for the Nevada City Rancheria Nisenan tribe. She sits on the tribal council and is community outreach liaison. She's also the executive director of the tribally guided nonprofit CHIRP, also known as the California Heritage Indigenous Research Project, whose mission is to preserve, protect, and perpetuate Nisenan culture. Here's more.
Hamakani. Thank you for this opportunity to share a little bit about the work that I do. So in my capacity as spokesperson for the Nevada City Rancheria Nisenan tribe, I find that I wear a lot of hats. I work with the membership. I do our tribal genealogies. I record our histories along with our chairman, Richard Johnson. And I listen to the needs of the tribal membership. And because CHIRP was created, that's our 501c3 nonprofit, the California Heritage Indigenous Research Project. CHIRP was created specifically to support the tribe. Its mission is to preserve, protect, and perpetuate Nisenan culture. So what I try to do as executive director of CHIRP, with the knowledge and I know the needs of the tribe. I see the areas within our community here where we are still completely erased. So what I do through CHIRP is I just wrote this down somewhere, and I really like it. I creatively mimic federal Indian programs that the tribe would have access to, like health, education, housing, and economic development. I try to realize what those projects could be, and then we pull them under the umbrella of CHIRP. So some of those projects include, they're actually nestled within new programs. One of them is the Ancestral Homelands Reciprocity Program. And that is a way where local people, businesses, individuals can donate on a monthly basis to CHIRP just for general support that, really put funds directly into those projects that are most important at any given moment in time. And the other project that I'm really proud of within CHIRP, that's just these programs and projects are just taking on lives of their own, and it's just so exciting, and it's kind of an indicator that of their success, is the Visibility Through Art program. And we work with local artists, and this last year we paired artists with tribal members to create works of art that really explore a conversation about what happened to the Nisenan here during the gold rush, the history and beauty of before, and the current state of tribal members today. And talking about these things through art has just been really successful for us. So that's another program I'm very excited about. And now we are creating curriculum, which has been a desire of the tribe for a very long time. It's a complicated process. Dealing with the schools, trying to get them to take on your curriculum, making sure that curriculum really reflects the true history of the tribe that we're trying to convey to people. So it's really just raising awareness, raising visibility, public and community education, and then looking at the tribe itself to see, like, what can we do to help the survivors of California genocide against the Native Americans is really the only way to say what it is, because it's the truth. And until we can sit down and have a real conversation about that, we're creatively mimicking federal Indian programs to bring some support to the tribe, to bring visibility to the tribe, to end the erasure of our people here in our homelands. So wrapped within that, we have volunteer opportunities. We are seeking the restoration of our federal recognition. So the tribe was terminated in 1964, not 1864, mind you. And it's a process, I'll tell you that. So, the reinstatement of recognition would just mitigate so much of what ails the tribal people right now. I know it's not a fix-all. I've talked to other Indian people who kind of laugh and say, if you think federal recognition is going to fix everything, you might want to rethink that. And I don't think we have any misconceptions about that. But it would be a safety net that we don't have right now. And so for the meantime, we're using CHIRP for all it's worth. It's growing. We have this steady money coming in now through Ancestral Homelands Reciprocity Program. I think we just crested like $2,400 a month. So it's just super exciting. So you can learn more about my work, and you can learn more about the tribe at www.nisinan.org.
Humakani, Humayabemi, Nishinanamimi Wakamni, Lidum Lily Yapamni, Daspa Hedidi. Hi, I'm Shelly Covert, and I'm the spokesperson for the Nevada City Rancheria Nisenan tribe. And I'm coming to you guys today to accept my award. I was really surprised when I got the notification that I had won an award. And I guess with all the work that I do, and I'm sure most of you out there in any type of conservation work or policy work, or any kind of on the ground work, sometimes that work is very, very big, and it's hard to see the end, even though you have a very firm goal in mind and something you're trying to attain. It can be a long, long haul, and I guess it was a moment to reflect, to look back on the work that I've done, and to feel that the work is letting the tribe be seen. And it's hard to put all into words. The memories that the tribe holds of these lands here, this geographic place, are worthy of being shared. This is a conservation award, and while I don't feel that I'm in necessarily on the ground conservation work every day, it's definitely an aspect of the work that I do. But every piece of history, every cultural practice that the tribe did and does today in whatever limited way that we still can, everything is earth-based. Every time we make a regalia, we relied on the feathers and the skins and the furs of animals that were here living as well alongside the Nisenan. So today, we don't have access to those natural resources, as they call them today, because the earth is in so much trouble. The earth has had so much destruction that entire herds of great species that lived on this land and tended and stewarded the land just as much as the Nisenan people did, they're gone from the landscape. And so as the tribe is fighting for the restoration of our federal recognition, it's not apart from the rest of the work. It's not apart from the conservation, because it's all so interknitted, so tightly together, that from my tribal perspective, if I jump from food sovereignty to protecting the waters and healthy meadows and healthy forests, protecting endangered species, to tribal health and the ailments that they have today. We're delving into historic trauma and stress and what that means for people. It's all related to the unhealthy access to the earth. And while it's so different, like, you know, I worry so much as we lose pieces of the forest and we lose, our oceans get unhealthier and we have dams that the water isn't healthy. I worry, what's the next step of loss? And it takes the conservationist to be on the lookout for these things, because we can't lose anymore. So I just want to thank Bear Yuba Land Trust. Thank you for the work that we do together. Thank you to all the nominations out there. Whoever nominated me, thank you very much. I'm so glad that, because it's Shelly's face, but I do represent an entire tribe. So thank you so much for my award. It's beautiful.
Congratulations, Shelly and Debra. Thank you for lighting a path for others to follow. Your work is an inspiration to us all. Both Shelly and Debra join an impressive roster of those that have received this award in the past, including this next man we pay tribute to tonight, John Olmsted, and the legacy he has left behind with the Independence Trail. Please enjoy the songs and stories of the Moore brothers, who want you to pledge in support of the Independence Trail, following these words by his son, Alden Olmsted.
What if one man had a vision to repurpose a piece of California history? What if he had a dream, inspired by a friend, of a unique trail in the wilderness that would be loved by many, visited by people the world over, accessible to all? What if the trail was built with his own hands, on the shoulders of an inspired community who followed his lead and watched as that dream came true? And what if in just one day, on August 20th, 2020, after a lightning storm sparked destructive fires statewide, what if that dream was gone? My father was John Olmsted, and together with a Herculean community effort, he built Nevada City's Independence Trail. It was almost lost just 5 years after opening in the 49er fire of 1988. John wasn't there to save it this time. The historic flumes and wheelchair ramps are gone, but the memory of what was, and of John's original dream, a nature trail in the wilderness, accessible to all, will live on. His vision is clear, and the community that believed in him and built it will build it again. It will take all of us, and it starts with you.
Hi folks, I'm Tom Moore and this is Greg Moore. We're the Moore Brothers. We're here tonight to celebrate John Olmsted and the Independence Trail and our community working together to make sure that we raise $15,000 or more. Tonight. We're gonna do it. I have faith that we will do it. And we're starting, I don't mean to brag, but we're starting tonight by donating $100. Those are Moore Brothers dollars. Those are worth more than most dollars because we're so poor. Okay? So get out there and join us. Do all you can. Peaks and passes, but if you don't even know me by now, peaks and passes, but if you don't even know me by now, I've been trying this whole time to get through peaks and passes. Oh Lord, waiting for you. I was blinded, but if it's you that can only make me see, I was blinded, but if it's you that can only make me see, I've been trying all this time to get free. Peaks and passes, oh Lord, waiting on me, waiting on me. Hi everybody, we're the Moore Brothers. We live in Nevada County and we're here to help raise some money for the Independence Trail. Because if we don't rebuild the Independence Trail, then that's wrong. Climbing up the fence in moonlight, kid, Ivy, kid, Ivy. Never sweating sun and evenings. You wear the water like jewelry, kid, Ivy, kid, Ivy. I saw you pressed up against my window and changing, blending with the purple, kid, Ivy, kid, Ivy, kid, Ivy, kid, I just can't wait to tell you all how excited I am to be here and to support the Bear Yuba Land Trust in raising money to rebuild the Independence Trail. You know, it'll be amazing if we can rebuild the trail, and it needs to be done. It will be a miracle if we can rebuild the trail in a way that is has the fraction of the spirit and love for nature and eccentricity that John Olmsted had. So I hope you, I'll tell some stories about John Olmsted a little bit later, but we're going to play some more music while you guys write checks and dig in your purses for money to send to help this amazing cause. Thank you. Oh, I remember mornings there was nothing much to do but outside. Oh, through the victory gardens I'd go, crawling after you, till we reached the flowers laid on gray and white. And I want to go back to those evenings when you'd climb up on your own, walking with the help of moon in blackest night. When I told you not out in the wind, but down in the ground, not far from the land that we used to know. Don't bury me out on the lone prairie. Bury me under the sweet kissing teens again. Oh, there's no need to worry, girl, you mustn't shake or frown. Meet me in the garden, turn this world around. When I tell you not out in the wind, but down in the ground, not far from the land that we used to know. Don't bury me out on the lone prairie. Why? Bury me under the sweet kissing. There'll be no talking where the squirrels run. You won't need your body to be rich in fun. Oh, you know what to do. We all know how it's done. Oh, I remember mornings I could taste it on your tongue. Not out in the wind, but down in the ground, not far from the land that we used to know. Don't bury me out on the lone prairie. Bury me under, bury me under, bury me under the sweet kissing teens again. Thank you. Well, if you don't want my character, I suppose that it must be true that I used up all of my tricks and charms that I used when I first met you. Let me tell you that it hurts so bad, hurts so bad, hurts so bad. All to know that somebody else gets to be new for you. I can never be new for you. laugh and seeing eyes that made me feel the on top of the spaceship high. Well, I'm scared that I could never do it again. Like somebody pulled the plug from the inside. It hurts so bad, hurts so bad, hurts so bad. Oh, to know that somebody else gets to be new for you. I can never be new for you. Ba 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 ba. Ba 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 ba. Yeah. I'd like to take a minute to tell a story. Some people think the Moore brothers are local, but we're not local. We weren't born here. We're actually flatlanders. We come from LA and we moved up to the Bay Area when we were in our 20s. When we first met some musician friends that lived in Nevada City, we were living in the Bay Area. Neither of us had a car, and I had never had a driver's license. When I would come up here to visit, friends would take me on different hikes, and I fell in love with Independence Trail right away. I thought that it was the crown jewel of everything that Nevada County was about. When we moved up here in 2007, I got a job in Rockland teaching history, and it forced me to not only get a license, but to get a used car. Having that used car allowed me the freedom to go to all of these different trailheads. And using Hank Mules' guide, Yuba Trails, I found all of them and became a little bit obsessed with hiking. Because I had this fanatical obsession with local history and hiking, a lot of friends started to ask me, "Hey, Tom, do you know John Olmsted? I think you guys would get along, or you could learn something from him." They told me that he was this sage, kind of looked like John Muir, and I was very intrigued. A friend pointed him out on the street, and I saw his dusty coat, his long gray beard, and his general wizardy vibe, and I knew I just had to meet this man. Well, that chance happened one morning when I had a friend visiting me from the Bay Area, and we were headed to South Pine for breakfast. On the way there, we stopped at a cafe where my friend was a barista, and when we walked in, I saw John Olmsted. But just to make sure, I went and asked my friend, the barista, "Is that John Olmsted?" She said, "Oh my God, Tom, you need to stay here and talk to him right now. He would love to talk to you. You guys have the same interests." But he was in the middle of a conversation. He was closing his eyes like this and looking above the person he was talking to and was doing all of the talking. And I thought, I cannot interrupt this man. So I told my friend, the barista, "Look, I'm hungry. I'll meet John Olmsted another time," and headed to South Pine. Well, I was sitting in South Pine for about 15 minutes when I heard a loud voice. "Is there a history teacher in the restaurant? Is there a history teacher in the restaurant?" I turned around and there was John Olmsted, and he was looking for me. He had a seat at our table. We started talking immediately. I told him that I really wanted to learn more about the natural world, and he said, "Well, how's your tree identification?" I told him, "Not very good." He said, "Do you have a car?" I said, "Just got one." He said, "Will you or can you wake up and pick me up tomorrow at 6 a.m.? I wasn't thrilled about the hour, but I did it, and for the next 3 years, John Olmsted and I were frequent hiking buddies. It was a great relationship. He had so much to teach, and he loved to talk, and I was learning how to become a good listener at the same time. John knew that I played music with my brother, and occasionally he'd have us play his events around town. He'd always ask us to play this Joni Mitchell song. We don't know it very well, but here we're gonna try it right now. Shoo, 1, 2, 3, 4. Shoo, bop, 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 bop. Shoo, bop, 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 bop. They paved paradise, put up a parking lot with a chic hotel, a boutique, and a swinging hot spot. Don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you've got till it's gone? They paved paradise, put up a parking lot. Shoo, bop, 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 bop. Shoo, bop, bop, bop. They took all the trees, put them in a tree museum. And they charged all the people $1.50 just to see him. Don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you've got till it's gone? They paved paradise, put up a parking lot. Shoo, bop, 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 bop. Shoo, bop, bop, bop. Farmer, farmer, put away that DDT now. Leave me spots on my apples, but give me the birds and the bees. Please, don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you've got till it's gone? They paved paradise, put up a parking lot. Shoo, bop, 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 bop. Shoo, bop, 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 bop. Late last night, I heard the screen door slam. And that big yellow taxi, it took away my old man. Don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you've got till it's gone? They paved paradise, put up a parking lot. Shoo, bop, bop, bop. Yeah, they paved paradise, put up a parking lot. Shoo, bop, bop, bop. They paved paradise, put up a parking lot. All right. I'm going to keep going here, but hopefully we can. So John and I had a great relationship for 3 years, and people who know him know John loved to talk, but it was always interesting. His passion for nature and his single-minded devotedness to the Yuba watershed was contagious, and it made him fun to be around. But he didn't only talk about nature. He liked to talk about his family, current events, local history, all sorts of things. But the thing that John taught me more than anything else was, when walking in nature, to not take it for granted and constantly be aware of my surroundings. One time we were walking near Joan's bar, and I was walking ahead of him, and I passed a red flower. John was upset. He said, "Tom, how could you just pass by that flower without noticing it and talking about it?" "Oh, sorry, John. I'll come back." He then proceeded to tell me all about the California fuchsia and the whole willow herb family. And for the rest of the day, I kept pointing out flowers to him just to make sure I wouldn't get in trouble. At one point, I thought I would tell a joke because I saw what was seemingly a dying butterfly perched on a blade of grass. And I thought it looked colorful like a flower. And jokingly, I said, "John, what type of flower is this?" I don't know if he knew I was joking, but John laughed longer than I think human beings normally should. He laughed for a long time. Years later, when I heard that John was terminally ill, I read it in the Union, like a lot of people, in an interview where John stated that unlike most people, when they learn that they're dying, they work with their families to get their possessions and life in order. But John didn't have that goal. He said he couldn't worry about those things because he was so excited to experience this last great adventure. It struck me how good-natured he was about death. And I thought of the walk where he laughed so long, and I wrote this song called "California Sister." Standing too tall and fatherly. Sometimes you were young and always landing sideways into the leaves. But most of the time you remind me of that cripple crippled butterfly. I asked you what kind of a flower, and you laughed for half an hour. Dying so easy, California sister. Sometimes you were like the fuchsia beaming, too bright they couldn't see. Sometimes you were wet and jumped in screaming, look back to call on me. But every other time I'd find you ready just to teach me. Finally you let us pass, but we still could feel the wrath. Dying so easy, California sister. Opening up with the sound of the horn. Closing the set with a beautiful more. Sometimes you were like the windy weather, and for the heavy trail. Sometimes you were like the storming winter, out in the woods again. But most of the time you remind me of that crippled butterfly. I asked you what kind of a flower, and you laughed for half an hour. Dying so easy, California sister. California sister.
Hi everyone, I'm Sean Clark, Trail Coordinator for Bear Yuba Land Trust, and I'm kicking off the Fund in Need portion of the program to raise the much needed funds for Independence Trail. At any point, you can pledge a donation of any amount and do so through the pledge button on your screen. Every donation helps. Also, we want to hear your stories. Share with us in the chat or message us on Facebook or Instagram using the hashtag Independence Trail to keep the memory alive. Don't forget to donate. Here I stand at a place I've spent a lot of time over the years, and that sadly doesn't look the way it used to. The Independence Trail, which I'm sure many of you have hiked, was the first identified wheelchair-accessible wilderness trail in the country. It utilizes the old Excelsior ditch that was built around 1859 to carry water for hydraulic mining. John Olmsted, along with helping hands from the community, transformed the historic ditch into what is now the Independence Trail. In 2012, the nonprofit conservation organization Sequoia Challenge, founded by Sally and John Olmsted, transferred ownership of the 207 acres on which a portion of the Independence Trail sits to Bear Yuba Land Trust. Since that time, the Land Trust has been collaborating with state parks, volunteers, and other groups to maintain the trail and keep it open and safe for the public to enjoy. Since it burned in the Jones Fire this past August, we've heard from thousands of people through emails, social media, and phone calls. Pictures have been sent and shared from within our community and across the globe. There is a love felt by all who have walked those iconic flumes, pushed their wheelchair down the Rush Creek ramp to get closer to the water, witnessed a newt mating ball, or enjoyed the many wildflowers seen along the trail. Located just 5 miles west of downtown Nevada City, this gem of a trail started as one man's vision and has grown into a destination trail. While the structures have been destroyed, nature is resilient and this trail will live on. It's going to take all of us to bring it back better than it ever was. Now I ask, please consider making a pledge tonight. It will go a long way to rebuilding the trail. One of my favorite spots was the large flume that spanned Rush Creek. It was just not something you normally see a mile out on the trail. When you come around the corner and see it, you can't help but get a little excited to go out on it and soak in the view of the Rocky Creek channel below. Depending on how Rush Creek was flowing that day, mist can be seen engulfing the flume and billowing up in wisps as it ascends into the sky above. To get down closer to the water, a series of switchbacks were built to improve access for folks with mobility limitations. The moss-covered boards and funky characteristics gave it a rustic vibe that fit well within the surrounding forested landscape. In late winter, newt mating balls can be seen in the small pools of water that collect along the side of the trail. They are impressive and a real treat to see, but I think the best part about the trail is the wildflowers. Because of the trail's unique location, many wildflowers can be seen throughout the spring. Because you're walking in the ditch, you're at eye level with them, and this is ideal for viewing and identifying the plants and their pollinators. The trail's historic nature is another aspect that makes it special to me. There is some impressive stonework along the trail that I especially enjoy. The places where the moss has grown over the stone to give it this ancient, wise feel. If I stare long enough, I can start to get mesmerized by the energy and knowledge contained within the rock walls. I want to get back out there and put my hands in the dirt, swing a Pulaski, and build it for and with you. But it's going to take funding to ensure the proper planning is done and assessments made so that it's safe and ready to open again to the public. We're working diligently to ensure that debris is removed and the soil is stabilized before the rains come so that the Yuba River doesn't experience residual runoff that could impact the health of a precious and vital resource. Creating access for everyone is important to the trails community because the more people we can get outside enjoying nature, the deeper the connection that can be made with our natural world. When new trail projects come up, we always consider ways to make it or part of it accessible to as many different types of trail users as possible. The fact that the Independence Trail is the first wheelchair-accessible wilderness trail in the country is simply astounding. The trail has inspired others to build wheelchair-accessible trails, and it continues to help those with mobility limitations to have more options when it comes to getting out in nature. Being outside in nature is what helps ground me, and I think it helps other people deal with the stress of day-to-day life as well. Let's get this rebuild funded so more people can experience this special part of nature. No doubt, Independence Trail is a huge asset to the community. School groups used to come to look at the newts and wildflowers. Photographers would come to snap photos of the flumes and stone walls. Folks from the community would get out to walk a couple miles to relieve some stress from the day. We're looking forward to getting this beloved trail back so these activities can once again be enjoyed by visitors and locals alike. Please help us and make a donation. Large, medium, or small, any size counts. There's still time. While you do that, I'm going to tell you a little bit about my good friend and buddy, Warren Wittich, who passed away this year. He loved the Independence Trail so much that he would drive from Fair Oaks, over 46 miles one way, about once a month for either a trail work day, to plan a trail work day, or to attend a South Yuba River Parks Association meeting. Warren was my go-to volunteer that I could always count on to show up and lend a hand. He had a love and appreciation for this trail similar to John Olmsted. When he was out on the trail, he always enjoyed talking with trail users. He'd ask them, "Where are you from? First time on the trail?" He wanted to know what they liked about it and if he could do anything to make their experience more enjoyable. Warren was a person you could look up to and aspire to be like. Him and I hit it off the first time we met. We were like two peas in a pod, and I miss working with him. It brings me joy to remember how excited Warren was to get out on the trail at the beginning of every workday. A grin spread across his face, a twinkle sparkled in his eye when Warren was out working on the trail, enjoying Mother Nature. He was a photographer and would often bring his camera to work parties. He said it was to document the work being done, but he took just as many photos of the surrounding vegetation and wildlife as he did of our work project. He volunteered on the trail for over 15 years, and it is sad the Jones Fire destroyed much of his hard work. In a way, maybe it's good he wasn't here to see it, but if he was here, he'd be the first in line to volunteer for the rebuild. In the spirit of celebration, I'd like to invite you to join me in thanking and acknowledging Warren Wittich, all those who have contributed to the Independence Trail, and those within the Land Trust family who passed away this year.
Earlier this week, we held a dedication of the Geri Bergen Memorial Forest at our Woodpecker Wildlife Preserve, located in Nevada City. We were joined by family members, and in honor of these wonderful people who we all love and cherish forever, we gathered. You will see their names engraved on plaques at the site, a small gesture that pales in comparison to the big gifts they have left through their legacy and spirit, which live on. At Bear Yuba Land Trust, we often speak about how our work lasts in perpetuity and how the projects we work on leave a legacy for generations to come. We are proud to be protecting the open spaces and wild places that provide access to nature and sustainability for agriculture and forestry, as well as protecting wildlife habitat and enhancing the health of these watersheds. But we couldn't do it without visionaries like John Olmsted, land stewards and protectors like Shelly Covert, advocates and teachers like Debra Weistar, and the long list of leaders before them who paved the way. We are empowered and bolstered up by the sponsors, supporters, believers, partners, volunteers, members, and each of you. As we wind down the evening, I express my deepest appreciation and gratitude for joining us. If you've been inspired by the stories shared, or intention behind this important work, place one last bid, donate, or become a Land Trust member at bylt.org. Oh, and don't forget to check out at the top of your screen before signing off. I hope you leave tonight ready to face the future, head down and heart forward, with a stronger commitment to protecting the natural resources and working lands and trails that make this place such a special place to live, work, play, and as a friend likes to add, thrive. Our future depends on it. With that, I leave you with one more song from the Moore Brothers. Thank you all, and good night.
1, 2, 3. Straight out on a sundown, I was coming to. You were talking, but I couldn't tell what you were going through. Standing on the bridge, I told you, where the sun rose out of the stream. You were talking, but I couldn't tell. Hey! Vanishing blues at midnight, mostly on a roll. I was driving, but I couldn't see, and so Tom lost control. Heading for the cliff, I saw you, where the moon rose out of the sky. I was driving, but I couldn't see. Hey! That's when she came our way. She flew up and off with the car. She drove my head around town, twisted my arms the wrong way. She drove my head around town. She twisted my arms the wrong way. She drove my head around town, twisted my arms the wrong way. Stopped dragging the sun down. She told me what to do. I was thinking that I wasn't there, vanishing through and through. Standing on the beach, it hit me, where the sun rose out of the sea. I was thinking that I wasn't there. Hey! Battered and bruised up, she would take one or take all. She drove my head around town, twisted my arms the wrong way. Thank you all so much for listening, for being a part of this wonderful community. It takes community to make change, to make things happen, and we're counting on you and encouraging you to donate today to make sure that we not only rebuild the Independence Trail, but do it in a way that John Olmsted would love. And thank you so much. We're the Moore Brothers. Take care.
Thank you.